Michael, is the mayor with you? So we have two.
He is not currently with me, no.
Oh, okay. We're close to quorum.
He'll be joining momentarily.
Thanks, Michael. Oh, Ravonda is with us today. Thanks for making it, Ravonda.
Absolutely.
Hello, Mary Johnson. So we do have a quorum present, and Ravonda is actually able to, she initially wasn't going to be able to make it, but is with us, which is great. So you could call us to order, Ravonda, if you'd like.
Good afternoon. It is now Tuesday, September 6th at 12:05, and I will call the meeting into order.
Thank you. There's two orders of business in this special meeting today. The first is a scheduled public hearing on video conferencing, and then the second agenda item is old business, ongoing discussion about the property disposition. We will start with the public hearing, and I believe the first step is to read the notice of the public hearing. Ravonda, would you like to do that, or would you like me to do that?
If you could, that'd be wonderful. I'm actually just leaving the airport.
I thought so. I knew this is going to be a lift for you to get on, so thanks for joining. So I will read the notice of public hearing. So notice is hereby given that a public hearing will be held by the Hudson Community Development and Planning Agency on the 6th day of September 2022 at 12 p.m. local time, regarding a proposal to permit the use of video conferencing for the agency and its audit committee, governance committee, and finance committee to the extent permitted by the open meetings law as amended by chapter 56 of the New York laws of 2022. Due to public health and safety concerns related to COVID-19, in accordance with the Governor's Executive Order 11 as amended, the public hearing will be held via video conference or teleconference. Do I need to continue, Chris, or does that cover the?
That's the purpose of the hearing. I think that's adequate.
Okay. So I also, the notice of the public hearing was posted in City Hall on HCDPA's website and in the Register Star on September 2nd. And now do we open the floor for public comment?
So Ravonda would open the public hearing, and yes, then open the hearing for comment.
I will now open the hearing for comment.
It looks like we have a comment from Ronald. Go for it.
Yes, hi. First of all, I've always favored maximum public participation in meetings of various agencies and bodies, and being able to do so via Zoom is something I think is very important. I think the basic goal of the open meetings law is to maximize the public's ability to observe and participate. So I favor your initiative. I would just like to ask Ms. Chail, if I might, for clarification on the current status of the governor's executive order and the legislation that was passed by the legislature, amending the open meetings law, and how it applies to the city's policy on public meetings, because I noticed that there are hybrid meetings in which you have, in-person attendance, for example, at City Hall, along with the attendance of a quorum of the members of the body. We have entirely virtual meetings, and we also have some entities that are having in-person only meetings. So I'd appreciate just a clarification of how the governor's current executive order and legislation affects, how various entities are conducting their meetings, because there seems to be a kind of, a great deal of variation permitted.
Madam Chair, if, with your permission, after the hearing, after you conclude the hearing, since we don't do Q&A in a public comment for public hearing, I can address the question for the board if you prefer.
That sounds like a good idea.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll wait. Mhm.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thanks for your question, Ronald.
Are there any other public comments?
And Sarah, I would ask to, just for the record, did you receive any written comments prior to the meeting?
I didn't receive any written comments prior to the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
And I think we have to hold the floor open for at least 5 minutes, right? So we may just be sitting here for a few minutes.
It's
And I believe we're on to open the floor at 12:08, so.
Madam Chair, while we're waiting, would you like me to address the question?
Sure.
And I would just address it in general terms. So right now, there is a governor's executive order which continues to be in place until next week at least, unless it's further extended, that allows for virtual meetings by municipalities. It doesn't require it. So some municipalities have decided that they would like to go back to in-person meetings only. I've seen that particularly with very small boards where they have typically not a lot of attendance. Let's say, fire districts tend to meet in a very large firehouse and have a very small attendance. The virtual is something that if video is permitted, a hybrid meeting can be accomplished as long as all of the board members can hear each other so that they can conduct business. And then the public needs to be able to hear what's going on at the meeting as well. So the hybrid meeting relies on having a certain amount of technology available. It can be more difficult in some cases than having either entirely virtual or entirely in person. So each municipality is having to try to accommodate this as best they can at this point. Going forward, at the point at which the governor's executive order finally expires and is not extended, then this video conferencing procedure essentially allows a hybrid process, but a certain number of folks are going to need to be in person at a place where the public can attend. And again, it's possible that that could be more than one place. It's possible that someone could be attending at, let's say, a town hall and a state office building or something like that. They need to be at a place where the public can attend, but it is possible to do that. And it's also possible for a member who experiences a specific type of event to be able to participate by video conference, as long as there is a quorum at one of those public locations, or one or more of those public locations. So that's how this video conferencing process would work going forward. But the other thing is that the new policy requires that you be able to see each other as well as hear each other. So it's a little more tough in terms of technology. You can't just be on a phone unless you can also get your screen up. So that's going to be a little trickier to comply with, I think, going forward. Ravonda, would you like to continue with the public hearing perhaps, and ask if there are further comments, and then you could conclude?
If there is no further questions, we will continue with the public hearing.
At this point, if you have no further comments, you could ask for any final comments, and then you could close the hearing if you so chose. With a motion, please.
Are there any other further comments? Can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make the motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Dominic?
I'm sorry, I'm mute. Aye.
Great. So we can close the public hearing. I'll keep the form of record in the notes that Chris's office prepared for us. And then, so this means that at our next meeting next week, we can hold a vote to adopt the video conference policy that Chris has prepared. Okay, so I think we can move on to our next order of business, which is the property disposition matter. I believe that this was requested to be an opportunity for the board to pursue an attorney-client conversation with Chris. That would mean that Ravonda has been recusing herself from these conversations as the HHA chair. I'm wondering if it's a problem, however, that we only have two other board members present. Do we need, I just texted Teresa, who I know is planning to be on this call today, so I'm not sure. But is it a problem to have an attorney-client with just two board members on it?
Yeah, I would say we reschedule if it's only gonna be two of us.
Okay.
I would agree with that, just because we're gonna have to revisit it anyway. And
Yeah, it's a deeper conversation.
So this matter will be on our agenda at the next meeting. I suppose I should ask, well, I do know that this is becoming time sensitive for both parties. So I'm wondering if there's any sort of like, I don't know. I know Ravonda has communicated ways that it's time sensitive. It might be useful to share that with the board and the public. And then I'm not sure if Chris, if there's any update that you can provide, or just like a general like statement.
Not at this point, no.
Okay.
I would just add that these properties were a part of our corrective action plan. We do have a meeting following up with HUD on the 8th to see how we have made out with HCDPA with these properties. I know that Brian and myself was on vacation at the same time, and we're both returning today. His plan was to follow up with Chris, but this is a part of our corrective action plan, and we definitely would like to move on. I know the holdup at first was keeping the lights on. We came up with a decision to keep the lights on at 25 grand, and we're still carrying on. So
Yeah,
that's it for me.
Yeah. So we're at the next board meeting, hopefully we can work towards a decision around how to move forward with the
And
offer.
when's the next board meeting?
It's next week,
Next week?
next Tuesday at noon.
Can we squeeze in a special session before then?
I
Because this
think
is
we-
only a attorney-client meeting, so it's not like we need to post or set it up in a certain way because the public isn't invited into this conversation and there's no decisions being made. Like, can't we just send out an email blast to the rest of the committee to say, you know, with the upcoming meeting being Tuesday, let's get something on the schedule in the next, few days.
Mayor, one thing that you could do is adjourn this meeting. I don't know if this would work for people, but some of the members are going to be at the IDA meeting tomorrow. Is it possible that we could schedule a time certain either before or after that? Just for, a brief, adjourn this meeting to that time.
Yeah.
And then just for one particular purpose, for one agenda item.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Who are our IDA
If
overlapping?
it's possible.
Myself, Dominic, Ryan.
Okay, so then we would just invite Teresa to.
Oh, for
Yes.
sure, yes.
Oh,
Right, but
Teresa is
to see
also
if
on
she
the
would be
IDA as well.
available. She might be available is what I was thinking, yeah.
Teresa's
Yeah,
on the IDA.
yeah, she's available because she's on the IDA as well.
Right, so I'm just thinking that might be a good opportunity to, we have to pick a time and, I don't know how long the IDA meeting is gonna go tomorrow, but, I don't know if it's gonna be more than an hour, it's gonna be more than 45 minutes.
Yeah, I think that's the best case scenario. And we can do that through email.
Well, we should probably do it here would be the better choice and try to go for maybe, what if we assumed it was gonna go for 45 minutes and plan for 10:15? Would that make sense?
Yeah,
I don't remember what all's on the agenda, do you? Let's see.
no, I'm trying to look now.
It's not a huge agenda, so, but it usually takes some time to get through it, so
Yeah,
would that work for those who are here at least?
Yeah, definitely after, before would be a little bit tough.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
right.
definitely after.
What
Yeah,
what if we set, we could set 10:30 and then just, it'll have to get delayed until we get done with the IDA meeting.
yeah, I would say 10:30 is a safer bet.
Okay, so, and then obviously, we'll meet as soon after 10:30 as we are able to, immediately following adjournment of the IDA meeting. And Sarah, you'll need to set up a separate Zoom call for us, all right?
Okay, and do we need to put this on the city calendar, or is that what we're saying is that we don't need to do that because it's an attorney-client?
Why don't you and I talk about that, okay?
Okay.
Okay. All right,
So do we need a vote to do this?
sure. Move to adjourn the meeting to 10:30 tomorrow. So to
I'll make
continue,
the motion
to
to
continue the
adjourn.
items of the agenda.
I'll make
I'll
that
second.
motion to during the meetings tomorrow, 10:30.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Ooh, any opposed? No. Okay, so we will adjourn the meeting to 10:30 tomorrow morning.
Okay.
And so then we can call this space closed and stop the recording, and Chris, you can walk me through the calendar.
Yeah, I'll just call you back.
Oh, okay, great.
Okay, all right.
Okay, well, we'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Have a good one, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thank you.